Welcome all. I'm Vara and this is Philip. Good evening. So Philip will walk you through the basics of the system and then introduce the topic. So I'll share the screen so they won't see you.
Okay,
Share the screen.
On your screen, you'll see the subtle system. It could be called the Tree of Life. It's an ancient knowledge, but it actually reflects the plexuses that we have in our body. And each of those stars or chakras, which just means flower, that go up the body, there's 7 main ones. Each one has a particular quality in it, which was given to us as we evolved. We don't often ask ourselves as human beings, where did I get this quality from? How come this? We've got a lot of things within inside ourselves which the Creator gave us to make us this human. And that's been an evolutionary thing as it goes along. Each one is a stage. And we're up to the top. We've reached a point where we need to find out more about ourselves, and that's the subtle side. And through Kundalini awakening or yoga or second birth, we can actually feel within us something much more subtle and also understand this system, which Shri Mataji introduced to the world. It's an old knowledge, but what Shri Mataji started doing in 1970 was make it available to everyone in the sense of the awakening of the Kundalini within, the knowledge of the chakras, and the way that each person, when they get their awakening, can become their own teacher. And she's, for about 35 years, travelled the world doing this freely because it's part of us and it's owed to us in the sense of knowing ourselves more. And this is from the inside. And as you can see, each of the chakras is a different colour. It registers on the hands, and that's our guide. But the program tonight, what Shri Mataji is talking about, is that second chakra. We've talked about the Muladhara chakra, which is the first one, which represents the earth, our innocence, our fragrance, more like a childlike quality within us. That came first to instill within the atmosphere before anything was formed, the idea of innocence and fragrance. The second one came in to create things. And you're looking, going right back, the scientists talk about the first molecule, and you're talking about billions of years ago, which is staggering if you want to think about it. And that energy came in to create everything. And like the Creator created it, all the things around us, like us. And that energy is in us, which gives us the ability to know, learn, have knowledge, create, be active, and relates to our being as a human. And you can see the yellow line goes up from that one. That came into being to make us the human. We're the only one that on the earth that's been given the ability to be free in a sense of the ego, even though we've taken it too far. That's very obvious. It gives us the ability to create and make and be and invent. That's that yellow side. The blue one, which started the first chakra, is also where our knowledge is, which is part of the Swadhisthana. They're related. So the Swadhisthana's got to do with us being creative, the knowledge we learn, and putting it into practice. And it's to do with our thinking. It's how we are. It's our intelligence. It's our awareness. And they are fundamental things within us. If we, it's got to do with the knowledge as well. The beautiful thing that Shri Mataji has shown through Sahaja Yoga is the knowledge of ourselves in how we need to balance and correct ourselves within to go to the centre to evolve onwards. And that takes us, if we go too far to the left or too far to the right, that can be a real problem within the human. Too far to the left, we get all poor me and miserable. Too far on to the right and aggressive or overactive. So what the Kundalini does when we get our realisation is awaken the central channel, that white one, and we can actually, through our meditation, come into a silent state. And that works in the sense of creativity, which is, as I was saying before, is the Swadhisthana. That works in a much more silent way. And you'll find that you can do things that come to you without much labour, in the sense of thinking too much about something. You can call it inspiration if you wish. And we can be much more lighter in the centre, but still be, those two qualities can still function in a pure way. But they're registered on the thumb, left and right. If you have impure knowledge, registers here. If you think too much or going to the right, it registers here. And this is the guide to ourself as it shows on that chart. The yellow thumbs, the yellow chakra. And that, if we think too much, we get into the right and we can overthink, and it can actually worry us. And they know for a long time that too much thinking causes worry, causes stress, because we're thinking about what could happen, may happen, not necessarily does. And that can be a real problem. It can weigh us down. And the beautiful thing about realization in Sahaja Yoga, as you develop your meditation, and that Kundalini becomes stronger, that central channel actually evolves and broadens, and you become much more in the center, away from thinking. In fact, your thinking and your, as I said before, your doing things becomes much softer. It's much more spontaneous. And you don't have to labour at things. It happens. And that sounds ideal and all that, but it's actually a fact that it becomes easier because of that central channel when it's awakened. But the Swadhisthana is an important chakra. As it comes in, the second one, then they go up through evolution. So we've been given this beautiful ability to be creative, and we don't often think about the qualities we do have. And one of them is this ability to be creative, like aesthetics, art. If you go too far into the left, it can be dark and miserable. Too far into the right, intellectual. But there's a centre of aesthetic which is related to a beauty, which is a reflection of the beauty. And if you look at historical painters and artists and creators, most of their work has stayed memorable because of its pure aesthetics. And that's cross-cultural. So, important chakra.
So I thought we'll play the third part of the speech that we've been playing for the last 2 weeks. Would you be able to introduce Shri Mataji?
Okay. Shri Mataji, as I said, started Sahaja Yoga in 1970. This is a talk she gave in Australia when she first came in the early 80s. And I said for 30 or more years, she travelled the world and did thousands of talks. And this is where she talks about this chakra. And she is, what can I say? She's not politically correct when it comes to an honesty about things, because what she's talking about is for our benevolence. And she'll talk about false gurus in talks because she's seen what it does to people. And the beautiful thing about Sahaja Yoga, when you get your awakening, you become your own guru. You get the ability to find out about yourself without paying any money on strings attached. So this is a talk. She talks about the Swadhisthana.
Any realized soul will never come into anybody. No guru can come into anybody, take it from me, because they know the value of freedom. They will never do it. It's a very mean thing to do. To them who are dead and to yourself who is living and is such a beautiful thing created by God. You get possessed by all these nonsensical things, black magic and this still are smart. And I don't know how you educated people can take to it. Perhaps you are very naive. I would say that you are naive, because in India we know this. We know all this. We know all this materialization and all business. We know very well. Of course, I mean, the young people do not know now, because I am an ancient person. We all knew about it. We call it Bhanumati, we call it Preta Vidya, Smashana Vidya, Bhuta Vidya, and there are books and books about it, what these things are done. The black magic and voodoo and all sorts of things that you call it. But you have no knowledge about it. Now, for example, we put all our dead bodies in the church. It's very dangerous. I don't know who told, where is it written in the Bible? I don't understand. Why should you put your dead bodies in the church? All right, if you want to have a church for the dead body, let them be alone with the dead bodies. You are living people. Why do you sit on top of dead bodies there and have all these devils coming on you and sitting on your heads? Only a realized soul is the person who should be buried in a church. Only a realized soul. In India is a custom that all people are burnt except for a realized soul, because they never try to possess anyone. They never try to disturb. On the contrary, they help in so many ways. They are not the people who will just come to disturb your life or to give you some encouragement. Sometimes you feel very happy also with that, because you feel that your, you can say, your responsibility is taken over. They have taken your responsibility and you feel quite relieved. In the beginning you feel quite nice. It's a good sensation. Oh, I feel peace within me. Because somebody else is coming to your house and he's going to use all your house and you'll be left behind. And then you become a recluse. Such people you'll find they'll put the cloth in the mouth like this, look like that, and they're very much frightened and afraid. Of course, before me they shake like this. All sorts of things happen. Now there's another trend about it. If you say that these are possessed people and this and that, so the left side ones are even worse. Left side ones are the people who go into the spirit business very much, but there are two types of spirit business. One can give supraconscious and one can give even subconscious. And subconscious is very easily available because they are busybodies, all these spirits on the subconscious area. They are busybodies and very mean and sly and dirty people. For example, a woman dies young without marriage. She would like to trouble a married woman. She's jealous. And that's why there are certain rules and regulations in our life one should understand, by which you should avoid all this nonsense. Take your psychology itself. Psychologists do not know what they are facing. They treat mad people. I told you about Freud. He was half-baked because he only knew about this desire, power of desire, which he called conditioning and all that. But he did not know there was another one, which is our ego. So he said, you take out all your conditioning. You don't have any conditioning whatsoever. So where do you go? You'll end up in what's wrong? Ego-oriented. Then you form another cult by saying, we must destroy our cult. You go on saying to yourself, oh, you are good for nothing, you are useless all the time. Kill your ego. So you become a recluse. These two things happen with the extremes of this movement. Of this center, through this center, you either go to the left or to the right. Now what is the real thing? This is the center of creativity. Creativity and the knowledge of the divine. Knowledge of the divine is when you get your realization, you get these cool vibrations of the Holy Ghost. And you have to know how to raise the Kundalini of others, and you have to know how to correct yourself. You have to know how to know all these centers, and also you have to find out all the absolute questions you have got within your mind. This has to happen to you. This realization has to happen, because this is in your own right you are having. Now you are a human being and you have to become a superhuman being. I'm not doing anything about it. As I say, I'm just cashing your bank accounts. But if bank accounts are so much on the left or the right, it's rather difficult. You have to give lots of grace marks and sort of overdrafts are there. So one has to understand that better be in the center. Not to go to these things. Why? Why? For what? What are you going to gain out of these things? Are you going to go to your spirit? Are you going to become yourself? Why? Just for a little gain here and a little gain there. Why are you going to these horrid people? They will take you to such a horrible extreme that maybe you may not be able to return. In London, I was surprised. There was a doctor whom I knew by relationship, and he came to see me and he said, I've lost all my jobs, everything, because I'm very depressed. I can't work. I don't know what happens to me. I'm extremely depressed. I've lost zest to work. I do not feel anything. I'm just gone case. I'm very depressed. And any time I try to work, I get again depressed. I'm very tired. I asked him, did he go to any one of these tantrikas and these type of places? He said, never. But my grandfather was a tantric. He used to do this black magic business. And now see, the grandson is suffering because of that. Later on, he was cured. We have one Australian here who was a Russian doctor. His grandmother had a habit of taking the child to the cemetery in the early ages of his life. He remembers that very well. And after some time, he became so depressed, he lost his job. I mean, he couldn't work, he used to get a headache and all sorts of things used to happen. And cramps used to come in his hands. When he came to me, he got cured, but it took some time because in childhood, all the impressions of the spirits was there. So one has to understand how to keep dead away from. You have to be in the present and not in the dead. Whosoever is dead is finished. Have you ever noticed a monkey, if the child of a monkey dies, before the death, the monkey will be shouting and screaming and doing all kinds of things. As soon as the thing dies, it leaves. It's not bothered. You can see with dogs and so many things. It's not bothered about it. It knows it's gone. That's why it is said that when somebody is dead, think of God and you sing songs and things like that and do not indulge into it too much. But we have forgotten all those things, and the way we do about dead things sometimes, it is so far that actually most of us live, then when doing all this, we live in the pasthood. We live in the past, and such people also see some ghosts and things. And some of them who were like this have seen my past and have been shaking before. They all shake before me, just like this, they go on shaking. They cannot sit straight. They go on shaking like this, they go on shaking like this. All the time their body shaking, they have no control over their body. So one has to understand that these things are absolutely dangerous for human beings. We are human beings. We are not dead bodies. We are not that. But the worst thing is that those who indulge into these things are caught up by the proteins which doctors have said are nothing but these dead spirits. They are saying proteins because they don't understand. These are the dead spirits. Cancer is caused only by the attack of the dead spirits. I have not come across a single case whom I've treated many, who has not got the affectation of the spirit. Now, in realization, when you get your realization, you catch up on this or this. These are the two swadhisthana which demand. I hope you put your hands like this. You will get your realization as well when I'm talking, just like this. And we both the feet straight on the ground, just like this.
Excuse me, could you please turn up the topic resistance? It's quite low. I don't know if other people find it hard to hear.
Could we turn up the volume for somebody at the back?
I'm sorry for that. I've been talking in the
It's
better now? Sorry for that. You should have told me earlier. You were so silent, I didn't know. Now is it all right? Now, I was telling you that when you put your hands like this, first the cool breeze starts blowing, alright? But when you have got your realization, you put your hand on somebody to test it, you catch on this one, that means it is unauthorized. Unauthorized working of the divine. Can be subconscious areas, can be supraconscious, can be psychologist or anyone who catch on this. When you work on your mind, the mind is the one that is the superego there, the blue one is the mind. And when you have somehow or other gone to some person or have had something to do with black magic yourself, then you catch on this left swadhisthana body. And when you catch on this, you have to say that you believe in the divine working, in the pure working of the divine. And that's called as Nirmala Vidya. Nirmala means pure. The pure knowledge of the technique, how to raise your Kundalini. When you say that, this gets all right and the spirit sleep. There are many people who have come to me who are mad. Now they say, how by Kundalini you cure back pain? What do you do about it? Nothing. I just give them Kundalini awakening. Then when the Kundalini awakens, when she goes to this center, which is the second center within us, the enlightenment takes place, the deity there of creativity gets awakened. And with the light, this darkness within you just disappears. Just goes away. Epilepsy can be cured. If somebody is suffering from epilepsy, there's a very simple method of curing that person. Extremely simple. When you come next, I will tell you how to get such a person cured. It's very simple. Sahaja Yoga is a spontaneous living method by which you can cure people as a byproduct of Kundalini awakening. It's not that I'm here as a healer and I'm going about giving me $10 for healing. It's not that. It's just when Kundalini gets awakened, you get cured. You get a good health. Because the Kundalini passes through this center which is responsible for your physical side. If your physical side is alright, then your health is alright. But there are other things with you. This emotional side, there is also you have got your mental side, and also you have got above all is the spiritual. All these things are to be enlightened through Kundalini awakening. The first thing that happens to you, that your health improves. No doubt. All kinds of things like paralysis, cancer, diabetes. Diabetes is curable by Sahaja. This I must explain to you how diabetes is cured. Diabetes is caused by people who think too much again. Who think too much, so the center has to work very hard and it cannot give sufficient attention to the pancreas which is on the left hand side. Because of that, the left hand side becomes frozen and the right hand side is working very hard. Now how do you cure your diabetes? Only way is if you have a realized soul, you give vibrations to the pancreas and give a balance to a person. There's a way of balancing it. If you can balance the thing, people get rid of their diabetes. Arthritis also can be cured. But now I must tell you about the spleen, which is a very important thing in us, and I think every one of you must understand it fully. Spleen, we do not know how important it is within us. It is the speedometer. It looks after the speed we have. The way we are speeding these days, we move really telescopically. We talk telescopically. We walk telescopically. Even if we are very speedy. And the speediness comes to us when our spleen has gone crazy. How does the spleen go crazy? It's very simple. Now spleen is there to create new blood corpuscles, red blood corpuscles, to meet all the emergencies you go through. For example, you are eating your food and it's an emergency, you need more RBCs, red blood corpuscles, so this spleen starts emitting more red blood corpuscles. But at the same time, you have the 9 o'clock news and you hear something horrible, another emergency is created. Then suddenly you eat your food and run. Third emergency is created. Poor spleen gets absolutely crazy. It does not know when to produce what blood cells. It doesn't know what to do with you because suddenly you have 3-4 things together. You'll be having your breakfast, putting one foot on the car, you're having your breakfast, talking to somebody that side, hear somebody just saying, get in, and all this going on simultaneously. Poor this spleen doesn't know which way to move. So it becomes crazy. And then the attack comes somehow. And blood cancer is setting. Blood cancer is the result of speediness. So one has to be very careful that our spleen must be alright. I'm warning you as a mother. I know these problems, we have cured blood cancer, but it's a horrible disease and once it gets over, within 1 week they say it finishes. Now we have cured many patients of blood cancer which were declared to be dead after 8 days. You see, that's all, they give a certificate. After 8 days or after 1 month. That's the certificate you get in the hospital. You will die. But in Sahaja Yoga, that can try to cure them. They have been cured. And when they went to the doctors, oh, they said, I know it was really remarkable, but we can't believe it was surgery. Even if a doctor is cured, they say, oh, this doctor has gone mad. He's talking like this. How can I? Here they have certified the person is going to die within 8 days. And there he is cured and going strong after 2 years also. They'll say there must be something. They do not want to accept because this challenges their knowledge. But I'm not here to take away their profession. They can have lots of patience. I'm not here to cure them. It's just the seekers who come to me for realization are blessed by divine grace, and they get brilliant. They get cured because they are seekers. They are the men of God. And they have to become the prophets. When they become the prophets, in this era, they have to convert others in the same way, and they will make them prophets. It's said by William Blake about 100 years back. He has described all these things in his book, Milton Will Be Survived. He has gone to such a limit of prophecy that he was such a seer that he has even described where I lived, Surrey Hills, the first beacons will be lit in Surrey Hills, and also he has said where our ashram is going to be in the ruins because we had no money, so they purchased a ruined place. In the ruins, the foundations will be laid in Lambeth Vale, and there it is, our ashram is. It has come to Lambeth Vale, and here is her loom vibrates the sinew of love. And Lambeth Vale, and he says, this is going to become the Jerusalem. Just imagine, a person 100 years back could see, he was such a seer, and he has written all about it. But human beings are not sensitive to things. I went to see his exhibition. He was a great artist. I was amazed. They were just seeing how he has shown nude women in the hair. Just imagine. We went there to see this. I mean, this is like we went to see a flower show, and there you are picking up all the filth and dirt. Is this the way you look at beautiful things? See for beauty and think of beauty. And then you are beauty. Why should you desire exotic things in life? Why should you not desire something that's so beautiful and that is useful? This is the second center I have told you. This is the one which limits our religion in the sense of our sustenance, not the religion the way you understand. Because all these religions are just like flowers on one living tree, have been plucked by people, and they say, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. And they have made these flowers very ugly, and such flowers are decaying. The whole attention should be on becoming the spirit. If it is not so, the rest of it is not God's work. God's work is just to awaken your Kundalini. It's a living work. Because if he is the living God, he has to do the living. His work is to transform a little flower into fruit which will out. In the same way, you cannot pulsate the Kundalini, but it will pulsate when you come to Sahaja Yoga. You will see with your naked eye the pulsation rising over here, and you can see your baptism taking place. It's written by so many people, and they have said, like Kabir Das has clearly said, we had a great poet called Kabir Das who has described Sahaja Yoga about 300-400 years back. And we had Shankaracharyya who has very clearly said all these things that I am telling you, but this was a knowledge limited to few people. Even Krishna talked to one Arjuna. Christ talked to some multitudes, and they crucified him. Because they couldn't understand what he was talking. What was there to crucify him? They did not remember. Most
Where Shri Mataji is talking about the process, Philip, can you take us through the process of raising the Kundalini?
Just open our hands on our lap. We can close our eyes. We'll go through a process where we express our desire for the Kundalini to awaken, remembering that she's a mothering power, She's in our sacrum bone, and she knows what's going on. And she's there. She wants to rise. She wants to unfurl and reach the top to give us that yoga, that realization. Leaving our left hand open on our lap, place our right hand on our heart. Inside ourselves, we can ask the question, am I the spirit? Because that's what we're meant to be, the spirit, which is in our heart. It's beyond our thinking. It's that eternal energy. It's the most powerful, but it's quiet and peaceful. And it's in our heart. It's a reflection of the Creator. Am I the spirit? Take our right hand down to the left-hand side of our navel, place it there, and ask the question, am I my own teacher? Am I my own master or guru? That's what we have to become. Am I my own teacher? Take that right hand down. The leg joins the body. This is the left Swadhisthana, which we were speaking about before. And here we ask the question, am I the pure knowledge? That's the knowledge which is beneficial to us. The knowledge of ourself, our subtle bodies, and how we are made. Am I the pure knowledge? The Nirmala Vidya, as Shri Mataji said, the pure knowledge. We can affirm that by saying, I am the pure knowledge, because it's there within me. I am the pure knowledge. Take that right hand back up to the left-hand side of our navel, and here we can affirm, I am my own teacher, master, or guru. That's what we have to become, to know ourselves, to look after ourselves, to have that knowledge. I am my own teacher. Back up to our heart. And here we can affirm that I am the spirit. I'm not the past or the future. I'm not my conditionings or my ego. I am the spirit. That's the eternal quality which is in our heart. I am the spirit. Take that right hand up to where the left shoulder joins the neck. This centre here called Vishuddhi is affected when we feel guilty about what we've done or some circumstance. It's to do with our relationships with each other. So here we can say, I am not guilty, because guilt can sit on us. I am not guilty. That helps clear the past. Whatever we've done, we just forgive ourselves. I am not guilty. Take that right hand to the back of our head. Here sits the superego, which is the end of the left side of our subtle system. It's our past, it's our conditioning, it's what we've come through, where we've been. Superego. And here we say, I forgive myself. That helps clear the past. Anything that has bothered us, I forgive myself and let it go. Because the past has gone and we forgive ourselves. Take the right hand across our forehead. This is where our ego sits. As Shri Mataji calls the yellow balloon. And here, best thing for our ego is just to forgive. We forgive everybody. Means we let go of any temper we may have, or upset, or worry, or whatever. I forgive everyone. Allows us to stand equally with each other. I forgive everyone. I forgive. It's one of our great qualities. Often hard, admittedly, but I forgive. Take the right hand and just place the palm on the top of our head. This is called the Sahasrara, which means 1,000-petaled lotus. Also, they say there's 1,000 nerve endings that sit on the top, on the fontanelle bone area. Here we ask for our self-realization. We ask the Kundalini, the mothering energy, to pass through this center so she can have her union with the outside. As Shri Mataji calls it, we get plugged into the mains, which is around us. Please give me my self-realization. Or please establish my self-realization. We can massage that slightly, keep our attention there. We ask for this lotus to open. Lift our hand up. You most likely feel a cool breeze there. Keep our attention up there just for a couple of minutes. The top of our head. That's our crown. That's our halo. It's the open lotus. You're still thinking, I forgive. I forgive myself and I forgive everybody else. We can take our right hand, take it up the front of the body in line with the spine, and slowly lift and ask the Kundalini to strengthen Do it 2 or 3 times. And feel again at the top above the head. That's your fountain. Keep our attention there, but bring our right hand back to our lap. They're both hands open, but our attention on the top.
So while we are in this state of peace, let's keep our attention above our head. So the goal in meditating in Sahaja Yoga is to keep our attention always on top of the head. However, our mind and heart pull us either into the left and the right. So this fight is always on. So when we engage the thoughts that are into the left, like Shri Mataji was saying, on the dead side, the most extreme is to try and engage with people who are dead. And the next extreme is to try and engage the thoughts that are coming from the past, that are making us go into that state where we are thinking of the past, brooding about the past, beating ourselves about the past. And as we progress in Sahaja Yoga, we end up spending more and more time in the center if we meditate regularly and perceive what is felt in our fingers and then clear them. So one of the techniques is to clear the left side, which is the side of the past, is to drop our right hand towards the ground. And for example, let's say some fingertip on the left hand side or the whole left side feels a little bit, you feel as if you're being pulled down by the weight of your shoulders or your thoughts. Then it usually indicates that you're being imbalanced on the left side. So this is a very good treatment to do. So you drop your right hand towards Mother Earth, left hand on the lap, attention above your head. And you say this prayer. Say, Mother, please remove all the problems in my left channel. Mother, please let me be free of all the thoughts about the past so I can stay in the center. Perhaps this is where that phrase, being centered, has come into the literature. Practically, this is what it means. That our attention is above the top of our crown chakra. Mother, please remove all the thoughts from the past so I can stay in the center. If thoughts come and disturb your center space, then you say, I forgive. I forgive. Put our right hand on the lap. Like how we can fall in the past, we can also jump into the future, helplessly thinking about the things that we need to do tomorrow, the day after, the next year. Once again, that is pulling us into something that we have absolutely no control of. So to walk away from those tendencies, we do what we call the right balancing. So we lift our left hand up with our fingertips pointing the ceiling. And here we ask, Mother, please remove all the thoughts of the future and let me be in the center, which is the present. Please remove all the thoughts of the future. Please let me be in the present. Please let me be centered. While our attention is fixated above the top of our head, we bring our hand back alive. And for a few more minutes, let's be in that state. that's all we had planned for tonight. Unless you have any questions, we'll close it off. For the onliners, you can put a message. Otherwise, yeah, so for those of you in Canberra and who couldn't make it to the face-to-face program and would like to come next week, the venue has changed and it'll be in Belconnen Library. We'll update the website soon. So if you come to Belconnen Library and look for, it's called Mezzanine Hall, then we'll be there. Hope to see you there. All right, bye for now. Good night.
Good night.
Raining people online, 10 people.
What? On Zoom?
On